What are the loops present in the part? So loop is a part of control flow statement. Control flow statements is a part of control statement is nothing but it will iteration. It called as iteration. Depending upon the condition, the loop will be repeated. The loop will be repeated. So that means that to run a particular block of code continuously, if you execute multiple times continuously until the required condition is true. So this process is called looping, is called as loop. Mean that depending upon the condition, if the condition is satisfied for a block of code, then this will be repeated, and if this is true, then this part is called as a loop, So depending upon the condition, the loop will be incremented. The statements will be incremented. And the continuation flow is called as a loop. So there are different kinds of loops are there, like in single for loop statement, multiple nested for loop statement. These are different types of there. So the control variables we can call it as control variables we can call it as a control statement. We can also call it as a control statements also. So the control variables calls the loop. We can also call it as a loop counter. These variables are also whatever the variable you are using inside the loop, those will called as a loop counter. A loop counter. So we can mean that these control variables, we can initialize the value, we can check the condition, and we can increment the values. We can increment the condition. So the control variable can be initialized, comma, checks the condition, and final incremented. So syntax is for initial condition increment. Don't give any semicolon at the end of the statement for loops or conditions. Okay, so system.out.println statement, whatever the statement we want, you can use closes. We already worked this for to count the number of links, number of drop down elements, radio buttons, check boxes. In that case we already worked, right? Yes. So this is the loop condition. So if you go for the loop statement, we use example. For example, I want to print 1 to 10 values. So for that, display 1 to 10 values, 1 to 10 natural numbers using for loop. So for initial i equal to 0, 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So system dot out dot println. So I value. Don't give any quotations inside that. Yes, that's all. So automatically what will happen? I value will be 1. 1 less than or equal to 10. Yes, it will come here. First I will be 1 will be printed. Again it will come here and I will be incremented to 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. Yes, 2 printed. So until it comes to the less than or equal to 10, the loop will be continued continuously. The block of code will be executed, and finally the condition is satisfied, then the loop will come out from the statement itself. So this is called as a looping statement. So for that, Okay, now? So this is the how to print the values from 0 to 10 values. This is how to print the initial, right? Okay, this is using the for loop statement. So we can go with the while loop also. The same program we can also go for while loop also. So the syntax for while loop is while loop is initial 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 condition incrementing mean that until and the condition is true, the loop will be repeated and it will be terminated. So syntax would be syntax is int I equal to 0 or initialize. So I'll give the example there directly. So example int I equal to, I can give as I equal to 1 while I less than or equal to 10 semicolon, don't give any semicolon. Now under that I'm going to use system.out.println I value. Now here you need to use I plus plus. Here you need to use I plus plus. That's all. So what will happen? First I will be 1, right? 1 less than or equal to 10. Yes. 1 will be printed. Now I will be incremented to 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. Yes. 2 will be printed. 2 will be incremented. Okay now? So this is how we are going to work using for loop statement. So while loop statement. So instead of for loop, so what I'm going to do is just I will remove the part. Here I'm going to use Krishna. Can you hear me, sir? Int.
Yes, I hear you.
I equal to 1 while I less than or equal to 10. So system dot out dot println I value, and I'm going to increment the value here. So the same program, but the difference is syntax will be different. That's all. Remaining will be the same structure. It will execute all the values. Okay? So values 1 to 10 values.
10 values.
So this is how we are going to work with the while loop statement. While loop statement. Now previously we have already worked with some programs, right? How to count the number of links, number of drop down elements, radio buttons, those things, right? Instead of for loops, can we do while loop statement?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do one thing. We'll say some sample. I'll show you. We'll try to work on sample application. Next, count the number of links or number of drop down elements using while loop. So I'm going to open my page. Amazon.com. Under the Amazon.com. So what I'm going to do? In this page, I want to capture all these drop down elements. Okay. Using while loop statement. Okay. So for that,
okay.
System dot set property of WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver next comma b colon double slash Chrome driver dot exe. Now after that I'm going to use Chrome driver d equal to new Chrome driver d dot get. So I'm going to give the URL of the page. d dot manage dot window dot maximize. Okay, once it is maximized, now what I'm going to do, just change it to Chrome driver watch dot open case selenium. Now after good, I'm going to use system dot out dot println d dot get title. Similarly, system dot out dot println d dot get current URL. Okay, that's all. Now after that, I want to capture these elements. Okay, just right click on that, inspect that element. What is ID here? Is there any ID?
There is no ID.
ID is a search drop down box. Okay, so I'm going to write web element drop equal to d dot find element of by dot id search drop down box. Now I'm going to get the list of elements. So list web element drop one equal to drop dot find elements of by dot tag name. What is the tag name? Each element started with the tag name option, ended with option. Okay, na?
Options.
So we can use
Yes.
option. Now after that, I'm going to use system.out.println drop one dot size. Okay. Now after that, I'm going to use, instead of for loop statement, I'm going to use while loop statement. Okay. So I'm going to use int drop one equal to, or int I equal to 1. Okay. While drop one dot size, if I less, sorry, 1 second, if I less than or equal to drop one dot size. Okay, na? Drop one dot size. Now I'm going to use system dot out dot println drop one dot get of I dot get text. Okay. Now I can use I plus plus here. Na? Can I use like this? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So here I'm going to, instead of for loop statement, I'm going to use while loop statement.
While loop.
Okay. So what is the error we are getting out? While I less than I equal to 1. Na? So while we make as y less than I less than. So we'll start with I equal to 0. I less than or equal to 1. Okay. Less than or equal to 1.
Java condition.
Up to means space.
Of one
Means so many values is getting out. It is getting all the elements, right? Yes.
Yes.
Index of 88, index 28 out of bound for length. So what we can do? Can we use I less than? Yes. So what happened? It will continue up to only before 1, before less. So less than 1, minus 1. Okay. It will print only up to this part. Which one? C.
No.
How many values it is going to print? So is it printed? Yes, it is printed na? C.
Yeah.
Okay na? So this is how we are going to use while loop statement. So better try to, we have worked with for loop statement, right? Instead of that, we try to change them into while loop statement. Okay.
Oh. Oh.
Okay. Now we'll see. Next one is break statement. Break statement. What do you mean? Have you heard break statement?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you, when to use?
Conditional.
It is used to transfer the control out of the body. That means that, So here what will happen is, for example, you are having 10 values are there. I want to break at 5, right? So automatically what will happen? It will execute 1 to 5 and it will stop executing at the 5 itself. Right? Mean that depending upon the condition, the loop will be terminated. The loop will be terminated. Okay? The loop will be terminated here. So actually, in other words, we can say that terminates the current loop. Okay? This is terminates the current loop values based on the condition based on the condition based on the condition based on the condition the loop will be terminated. Break statement we usually use this break statement we use in for loop comma while loop comma do while comma switch comma. We already worked yesterday, right? Switch statement. When you are using this kind of loops, then in that case we used to have your break statement. Now for example, we'll see a sample program. I have 10 values, so I'm going to print for. We'll try to work here now. So I'm going to create one more class while loop public static void main, click finish. So here I'm going to use for int I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Now I'm going to use system.out.println of I. Okay, I'm giving the I value. Now, after that, I'm going to use if I equal to 5. If I equal to 5, okay, if I equal to 5, I'm going to use break statement. So what will happen? What will happen?
We get a 5, it will be great.
Yes.
Break the line.
After 5, it won't execute. The remaining elements will not be executed. It will execute only 0 to 5 elements.
0 to 5.
Okay. It will execute only 0 to 5 element. If I use continue, what will happen?
It will continue up to 10. It will be great.
When you're using continuous statement, what will happen is it will skip the condition. It will skip the condition value and the remaining values will be executed. Example is 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. And if I equal to 6, I'm giving here I equal to 6. Okay now, if I'm giving I equal to 6 now, it won't execute the sixth value. 1 2 3 5, it will 4 5 will executed. The remaining 7 comma 8 comma 9 comma 10, these elements go. So that means that if you are giving the condition, this will skip this condition and it will execute 1 to 5 as well as 7 to 10. 7 to 10. Okay na? So that is a continuous statement. So here in the same program where we can change. So I will try to give this as below the
break.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give instead of break, I'm going to use continue, else I'm going to use system.out.println I value. So what is happening? First it will 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will print. It won't print 5. Yes. Up to 4 it will print. Then the remaining 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be printed.
Okay.
Okay na?
Yeah.
See, 0 to 4 it is printing. 5 is not printing. It means that it is skip this condition. It will skip this condition and the remaining 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be printed. Okay. Okay. For example, if I give I less than or equal to 10, I given that. Okay. And if I give as if I greater than or equal to 5, what will happen? If I give I greater than or equal to 5, what will happen?
Above values keep 7, 8, 9, 10.
See, it will skip the remaining condition values. 5, 6, 7, 8, and it won't print that values.
Yes.
Okay. Na? So depending upon the condition, the loop will be terminated in the continuous statement. First, we'll go with I less than or equal to I equal to 5. And in the next program, I greater than or equal to 5 value. So depending upon the condition, the loop will be terminated. If I use I less than or equal to 3, what will happen? We need to check all the condition, not only this. See, if I give I less than or equal to 5, what will happen?
Yes.
If I give I less than or equal to 5, so what it will print? It won't print 1 to 5, 0 to 5. It will print from the 6th to 10th. Okay. Na?
Okay.
If I give I less than I not equal to 3, what will happen? If I not equal to 5, we need to check all the conditions, not only single. See, not equal to 5. See, what will happen?
5 only.
5 is there, na?
Yes.
5 is there, already there, right? For example,
Yes.
if I give I less than or equal to 4, okay, na? If I give I less than or equal to 4, then what will print? It won't print nothing. Nothing is there since we're having only 4 elements, right? The 5 is not a part of 4, right?
Yes.
So depending upon the condition, it will print out. If I give I less than or equal to 6, and if I give I not equal to 5, then it will print the value of 5. Okay. So this is the different ways where you can use for loop statement for break and continue. Break and continue statement.
Continue statements.
Continue statements. Next. Arrays in Java. What do you mean by array? Any idea?
No idea.
For example, you have 100 students, 100 employee details. Employee ID, employee name, employee designation, employee qualification, employee salary, everything will get it out, right? So how do you get the particular employee? If you want to get a particular employee details, how do you get that? Using ID, you can get it, right? Using ID, we can get the employee details, right? So and so. So and so employee ID. If I give employee ID, automatically you get the name, email ID, contact number, designation, salary, all these things will be get using ID. Now, if you want to get 100 student details or 100 employee details, we can't get individually, right? So we can store all the related elements of the 100 employees in a single variable. In a single variable, mean that the collection of elements or a number of elements or number of elements or number of values which are stored in a single variable is called as array. The array means that the variable which stores multiple elements at a time is called as array. Okay, so we can say it as it is a collection of data of same data type. It is a collection of data of same data type. That means that array can store the integers, the array can store the float values, The array can store any number of strings. The array can store any number of characters. Okay, na? So this array, these collections may be an integer, maybe a character, maybe any float values or string values. You can store any number of string values. Now that means that it can store. We cannot fetch the data. We cannot fetch the data directly. Direct తెచ్చుకోలేము. Using index value, we can get the data. For example, two employees are having the same surname. Two employees are having the same surname or same name. Now, how do you get? How do you get? By using ID, employee ID 1, employee ID 2. If I use employee ID 1, whatever the data present in the first employee, will get all the details. These details, it may contain the roll number is an integer, his qualification is a string, his designation is a string, his percentage of previous marks is percentage is a float or double. So mean that it can store any type of data. It can store any type of data in a single variable. So we cannot get the data directly, but by using the index value, we can get the data. So the default index value for an array is zero. So index will always start with 0. See, previously we have worked with number of count, number of links, number of drop down elements, number of radio buttons. We already worked, right? So there what we have done, I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus, right? See, the index value will always start with the 0th value. It may be links, it may be drop down, it may be radio buttons, it may be check boxes, whatever it may be. So the index value will always start with a 0. 0, 0. Now these data types we can get. So each and every index is a memory locations. Every object will have their own memory locations. See, for example, okay, so a of 0, first index value is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, for example, in this I'm having sign in, sign up, support, next help, all these things are there. If I want to get the sign on, what is index value here? A of 0. So every element will have their index value. So the starting index value for each and every element started with the 0 element. Is started with the 0 element. So syntax would be syntax for declaring an array is integer or something like data type variable of equal to new data type of So here what I'm doing is integer a of equal to new int of 4. That means that I'm going to store the 4 values of integers in a variable a.
A.
4 integer values ni a lo store చేస్తున్నామట దాన్ని a of. Here integer is a data type. A of is a memory allocations which are being stored of integers. How many integers? 4 integers. 4
4 integers.
integers. Now, so if you want to assign them, so how do you assign that? A of 0 equal to 12, a of 1 equal to 23, a of 2 equal to 34, a of 3 equal to 45. Okay, in this way we can get assign the values inside that. So that means that a of 0 will be assigned with 12 value, 12, and this will be 33, 34, 45. Depends upon that we can assign the values. Okay.
Okay.
So see, so here I'm going to use right click on the package, go to new, click on the class, mention as array, public static void main, click finish. So here what I'm going to do, so I'm going to write as int a of equal to new int of 4, a of 0 equal to 12, a of 1 equal to 23, a of 2 equal to 34. How many values? A of 3 equal to 45. Now I want to get the size of length of this element. I want to get the size of array. We use system dot out dot println a dot length. So if you want to get the size, we use a dot length. Okay. If you want to read all the array elements, we use for int I equal to 0, I less than or equal to a dot length, I plus plus. Inside that I want to read all the elements now. So system dot out dot println of a of I. So the I will stores the 4 values. We already assigned the values of 4 elements, right? So 4
Yes.
elements stored. So these elements will be displayed here. Save the file, run as. We'll start with a equal to 1. Okay, no 0. We try to start with 1. So 1 అయితే 12 print అవుతుంది 0. I equal to 0, I less than a dot length, I plus plus. So what will happen? It will print 4 values. The size is the 4 and the elements stored is 12, 23, 34 and 45. These are all the elements which are stored in the array. Okay.
Okay.
So that means that the array can store integer values, multiple integer values. We can store the strings also. So strings. So strings in single dimension array. Single dimension array. So instead of integers, I'm going to use string values. So if you want to use string values, we can use string a of equal to new string of a of 0 equal to testing, a of 1 equal to tools, manual testing. Same, that's all. So we can change the string values, that's all. So automatically the string values will be displayed. Okay.
Okay.
This is how we are going to store the single dimension array. So we can also store there is one more procedure instead of storing the string values. So instead of assigning here, just we can remove that and we can use a of equal to, just you can remove that part and you can use braces. Testing tools, comma, manual testing. That's all. Okay, na? So
Okay.
what is semicolon? Semicolon.
Yes. Semicolon.
Okay.
Okay.
And here also the values of integers also we can store in that. So how do you store the integers? Just we can use same. So here what we can do? Int. Okay, int. Second procedure for storing the integer values in this. Okay.
Okay.